I didn't anticipate making this video, nor did I really want to, but I'm trying to document my process going from no training to finishing an Ironman as best as possible. And this is something that's been going on this past week. So let's go over exactly what's been happening and my plan moving forward. So it all started a week ago from today. I was on a bike ride. It was a threshold interval bike ride, and it wasn't anything too serious or alarming. I felt some tightness in my quads, which I just thought I would be able to go through. There was no issues there, but the easy off the bike on the run is when I started to actually run into the issues. I started to feel, I don't know if it's my IT band, just somewhere in my knee, upper outside area, so somewhere in the range of the IT band, it just wasn't feeling right. And I decided to just walk a little bit, and then I would run, and then it felt fine, and then it started acting up again, and I would walk again. And I never really ever walk while I'm running, so that was really new to me, and I was trying to listen to my body the best I can. And a lot of Lionel Sanders videos right now is him talking about his injury because he's been dealing with that, and he's been talking about listening to his body. And me being 4 weeks out from my Ironman, usually I would just push myself through these injuries, but I'm realizing I'm 4 weeks out. I don't want to try and push myself through it and risk further injury. So I did decide to finish that run, but I was sprinkling in some walks here and there. And then I decided to wait to the next day. I had my long run. I did go through it. I did battle a lot of, I wouldn't say pain, I guess it would be pain and discomfort. I was feeling it, but I was able to go through. I didn't walk at all, so the pain wasn't as sharp. But afterwards is when it started to hurt a lot, and I just noticed that it had a negative impact on it. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be running at all. I'm going to take some time off running because I'm 4 weeks out. I need to be prepared for that. I don't want to be injured for it. I don't want to continue putting more stress on my knee. So just going downstairs was bad. Like I would not put weight on it. I was like fully leaning on the stairway or whatever that thing's called, the railing. And I would not put weight on it just because it hurt so much. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take the rest of the week off running, and hopefully I'll be able to recover from it because I'm only 4 weeks out from my Ironman. So that's what I did. I took Friday, Saturday, Sunday off from running, but I've been continuing to bike and swim. And later that day, on Wednesday, after my long run, I went for a swim and my knee was hurting. I'm like, okay, if my knee's hurting during a swim, there's something wrong here. So I decided to take that time off. So it's Tuesday now, so 6 days in between rest. And I'm not scheduled to run today, but tomorrow I have a long run, and I figured I'd like to test it out before I actually have that. So right now I have a threshold interval ride again, and off the bike I'm just gonna do a easy mile just to see how my knee is, because tomorrow is my long run, but it's quite a bit shortened. It's only an hour and 45 minutes. But I want to see how my knee is feeling today to get an indication of how it's feeling tomorrow. I'm not going to try and push myself or anything. If it's hurting, I'm just going to stop, or I'm just going to walk, and I'm not going to try and push myself. I just want to see how it is today. I've given myself 6 days rest. I just want to be able to show up on race day and be able to not be injured. And if I show up on race day and it starts hurting and I gave myself 3-4 weeks of rest recovery, I'm just going to push through it, but I don't want to make it any worse. So today, I'm just going to bring you through a few days training, and hopefully I'm able to get back into running. Today is going to be a threshold interval ride. I have 2 by 18 minutes at about 265 watts, and then tomorrow, or I'm going to be doing about a mile off the bike, and then tomorrow I have swimming and my long run. So I'm just going to bring you through a few days and just talk about my injury and see how it progresses, because I've given it about 6 days rest. We're going to see if it's been better, and hopefully we're able to get some runs in and get back to it, because I'm missing out on runs and I want to get back to it. So that's just what's been going on with me recently and how I'm trying to game plan through it. Usually I would just push through it, but being so close to my Ironman and given basically like the last 8 months of my life training towards this, I don't want to just throw it away to try and push through an injury. So I don't think that's a smart play. I'm trying to listen to my body the best I can. So I'm going to head out on this bike ride right now. Off the bike, I'm going to do a quick mile to see how my knee's feeling. just wrapped up the bike ride. I thought it went really well. I think that was my longest interval segments that I've done, which was 2 by 18 minutes. I think the longest before that was 15 minutes. So I thought they went really well. Towards the end, I was experiencing a little bit of pain in my knee / quad area, but it's not the same spot of my knee, where my knee when I was running was on the outside. This is more on the inside. So I don't know if it's something different or what it is, but that's also something I'm gonna have to keep an eye on. But I thought that ride went pretty good. I feel like it was really good power output. I was holding it around 260 pretty consistently, but gonna get changed here, head out on a very short run and see how my knee holds up. And if any pain comes, I'm just gonna call it quits, and that sucks to see because I'm not gonna be able to run tomorrow. So I'm gonna try out my knee and this run and see how it goes. All right, well, really good news. Knee felt fine. First couple minutes, the issue that was happening on the bike, I felt it a little bit in my quad, but after the first few minutes, it went away. So that's good news, good sign. Just shows you gotta listen to your body every now and then and not push through the pain. Sometimes giving a couple days break is what's the move, but the real test is gonna be tomorrow, because that's an hour and 45 minutes. So we're gonna have to see if we're able to go for the whole distance without experiencing any pain. That's gonna be the real test. So that's it for today, and we're gonna see how tomorrow goes.
Pulled off to the side, showed his badge, and they uncuffed him and let him go back in. No.
All right, Wednesday morning here, starting off our day. We got a nice swim, just an aerobic swim. I think it's 10 by 250, and the first 50 on each 250 is at a zone 4 pace, and then you slowly ease into zone 2. So nothing too crazy. Not thrilled about having to start out at zone 4 just because aerobic swims are usually easy. But I mean, it's only 50 meters, so nothing too crazy. But going into this, I think it was last week. It wasn't my last swim because my last swim was open water, and then I think I had to swim somewhere else. So I think it was about 2 or 3 swims ago when I was here. It's so weird. My pinky was starting to hurt, and then my hand started to hurt, and I'm like, it's just noticing all these signs that I usually just ignore because it's like I battle through the pain, and a lot of the times it's just work through it, it'll go away, it'll heal itself. But it just seems like my body's saying, hey, you got to slow down a little bit, maybe take a little bit of a rest, recovery. So even like a pinky, like from swimming, like that just blew my mind that my hand would be hurting from swimming. It's like something that you probably rarely ever hear. So there's just so many signs that are coming up. But I mean, after that one incident, I didn't really have any issues. I was on a bike when I was not in the aero. I was sitting up. It was feeling a little bit like right here. I was like, that doesn't feel right. That's something new. And it might have been from that. Now that I think about it, I didn't think about it in the moment, but now that I think about it, I feel like that could be a lingering issue from that. But it's just all these signs that are coming up where it's like you got to listen to your body, maybe take some rest, recovery. And I never thought that I would have a hand injury from swimming, so that just kind of blew my mind. But we're going to be heading in here, maybe get around 3-ish K, just 60 minutes aerobic swim. So we're going to head in and do that. All right, just wrapped up my swim there, and honestly I was putting up some really good times, felt really strong. It was probably by far my fastest aerobic swim efforts, and obviously a little bit of it is the zone 4 50 meters at the start, and second probably because it's not very long segments, it's just 250 meters, whereas other times it's like 300 400 500 meters, so it's obviously a little bit shorter. But even when I was doing the 100 meters at the end just to finish out to get to 60 minutes, I was still putting up really solid times. So I don't know if it's just improving in the water, becoming more efficient, because I know swimming, a whole big aspect of it is being efficient in the water and creating as little drag as possible. But I felt like I was not giving too much effort and it was like a really comfortable pace. So felt really good with that. I think I got around 3,700 yards, and yeah, the pacing on it was just a lot better than what I usually put up. I think my overall average was 137 per 100 meters, and usually for aerobic efforts, I'm around 142 to 144. So good improvements there. I don't know, maybe it was the last time I was in the open water. It was extremely rough conditions. I was swimming at, I think I averaged 225 per 100 yards. It was rough conditions. So I don't know, maybe that helped out a little bit and strengthened my swim up a little bit. But yeah, so that's the swim on this morning. And now we're going to be heading home, getting some breakfast in. And then it's going to be the run, which is the biggest concern, to make sure that we're hopefully feeling good on the run and able to get through it. But we're going to head home, get some food in us, rest up a little bit, and then we'll head out. All right, the moment I've been waiting for to see if it's actually going to hurt my knee and how this run actually goes. I got an hour and 45 long run, pretty basic, staying at easy pace throughout the whole thing. I don't know what the segment is. I think there's like a 1x6 or 1x8 minute at zone 3, but other than that, it's an easy pace. I'm going to treat it like a normal run, and I'm not going to try and dog it a little bit. I'm just going to go out, normal pace, and hopefully nothing affects it, nothing hurts my knee. I am assuming I am going to go the entire time, but if it does act up, I will stop and walk, but I do want to get the whole run in. So if it does hurt, I'm going to stop and walk, but I'm not going to stop completely, which might not be ideal, but hopefully we're able to go through the entire run and not feel any pain. I think the one thing that I will need to pay attention to is if there's lingering effects after the run, because that's what happened the last time I did a long run. It was feeling a little bit during the run, but after the run was really bad, where I couldn't even go up and down stairs. Well, I could, but it just hurt a lot. So that's one thing I'm going to be paying attention to. But we're going to head out now, hour and 45. Let's see how this one goes. Well, good news on that. Went well. There was a few small periods when I was feeling a little bit of a sharp pain, but they were really short, and it wasn't really the same as what I usually felt with my previous knee injury. But the zone 3 effort, it was 7 minutes, and oh man, getting sweat in my eyes. I can't see. But oh man, I'm gonna finish it without. Ouch. Ouch. That zone 3 effort, it felt fine. But put in about a regular effort. This is hard. Put in a regular effort, got about my regular time, which is good. I'm going to give my knee some time to heal, and then I'll update you after that just to see if it does have any of those lingering effects like it did last time. So I thought this one went well with a few small sharp pains, but other than that, I thought it was good. So this is a good positive sign, and I'm going to update you after. All right, it's quite a bit later in the day. I let my leg rest up a little bit, see how it went, if any issues arose, and so far, nothing happened. So this is going to be my last long run, at least like this distance. So from here on out, after this weekend I have a long ride, and then I have a 40-minute run off of the bike, and then I think I might have a like 10-ish mile run. But after that, I start my taper, and I'm going to be decreasing my volume. So this was my last week with a long run, and that's going to be the longest that I'll see. So hopefully I don't progress and it makes it any worse. But I am going to be continuing to monitor it to make sure that it doesn't get any worse. It's going to be something that I keep a really close eye, because I'm basically 2 weeks out from my Ironman, and I do not really have the desire to go into it with a injury, or at least make this injured and just not be there close to 100%, or if at 100%, I don't think 100% is possible, but the taper does start soon. But I think this just goes to show to listen to your body. Whereas before, I might have tried to push through it. I would have had 3 runs during that injury, and that could have just pushed me to the limit where my knee could have just like my IT band maybe just, I don't know what could have happened, but it could have been bad where I've had an IT band issue and that put me out for about 6 months. So it could have got to the point where I wasn't even able to run or bike come my Ironman, and just listening to my body say, hey, we're having a little bit of issues here, maybe take a day or two off, which I decided to do. Basically took a week off, and honestly feeling good now. It is going to be something that I do continue to monitor no matter what it is. If it's like my other knee or anything else starts to come up, I do want to make sure that I'm going to be there and ready as much as possible, because I've pretty much done all the work this past 8 months. I've already put in everything, and the taper starts now or soon. So it's like I'm not going to be making very many gains from now until the actual Ironman. So it's basically at least stay the same until the Ironman and try not to get injured and make sure that you're there, you're healthy, and you can put your best foot forward. So that's going to be ultimately my main goal, is being there, being healthy, and putting my best foot forward. And I've done the work already. So that's pretty much it. Just listen to your body. Normally, I think there is a time and place to not listen to it and listen to it. One of the times maybe being during a race and just pushing through it, or maybe if you don't really have anything that's very far out, like a race, maybe like if it's say 6 months out or something like that, maybe you can try to push through it a little bit longer than I did with this one. Where this one I basically felt it on 2 runs, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to try and push it anymore. Whereas before, maybe I would try and push it for a week or two to see if it does go away. But for this one, I specifically felt it, and I'm like, okay, I'm 2 to 3 weeks out. It's not the time to push it. So I think there might be an argument to say there is a time and place to push through an injury, but for the most part, I think listening to your body is really key, and that's something that I'm definitely going to be doing from now until my Ironman, and especially moving forward. I Majority of the times I probably will try to push through and endure the pain, the suffering, but I think this is a good wake-up call to just start listening to my body. If there are any aches, there's pains, or I'm just going through anything, I think it is beneficial to maybe just take a couple days off, and then you're going to be able to recover. You're going to be able to come back just as strong, if not stronger. And I think that's something that I did realize with this, because I may have I may have ruined my chances to actually run in this Ironman. So that would have really sucked, but I think we're trending on a good direction. I am going to be continuing to monitoring everything like I said. So listen to your body moving forward. I think it's really key to just having a good training block and having a good race. So I do appreciate you tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.